fucking crazy. Oh, we're live. Okay, that's nice.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I'm Leslie. This is Tania. We are MindScapes717. We are going to discuss what are we discussing today? We have so much to discuss.
All of the things. So we wanted to start off with. Well, I want to start off. I want to say thank you to the followers and stuff. We really do appreciate it. This is where the technical fail comes in.
Yes.
We get ahead of ourselves and we don't do the things we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. So we are actually going to kind of start our podcast very soon. And you are going to join us for the podcast.
Come on for the ride.
And so that's what we're going to do. We're not batting like 100 right now.
I don't think we ever do when it comes to this. We're so excited for podcast day and it's here. We're not ready, but go figure.
Exactly.
That's fine.
But that's okay because we have fun.
We do. That if nothing else, we do have fun.
Yeah.
And I like watching Leslie cuss at her phone. That's very fun.
Yeah, she does. She's always talking about that. So we're going to go ahead and start right now, and then we'll get right back into what we're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and begin. No, let's not begin. Let's let us not do that. Let's stop this right now. Bad. That was bad. Terrible. Oh my gosh.
We're going 1 week away from this, and it's pure chaos.
Yes, exactly. Pure chaos. Yes. So here we go again. So technical difficulties, please give us the grace that we need because, we need it. What? I'm taking this off. I always do something wrong. First of all, let me see if this works. Okay, that works. So let me see if this works. Maybe now you can hear us. Oh my God, this is great. Okay, we are going to begin right now. Hello. It's Leslie and Tania. It is actually October. Can you believe it?
No,
I cannot believe it at all. I think it's crazy. I'm surprised that this year has gone by so freaking fast. But anyhow, the last time we did our podcast, we were in Pittsburgh.
So much fun.
Yes, it was. Oh my gosh. It was just so much fun. We did so much in such a little amount of time.
We did.
And we even did an opening. We did a reveal of
an unboxing. An unboxing of the box that I got at the candy store. Because if you don't know by now, then I don't know where you've been, but I love a good candy store. Love it.
And so all this week, she has been introducing more of the candies on TikTok. So if you want to watch more of us, or want to see some of their stuff, come join us on. It's MindScapes717. So come on over and join and listen to some of our stuff that we talk about. We constantly talk about our passions, our work. We talk about
where this came from for us, the podcast and drinking.
Yes, we talk about drink. We talk about food culture. We talk about culture. We talk about mental health. We talk about all this stuff. And when we were in Pittsburgh, we really found out some new cultural things that we had no idea about. So, and that was fun. It's so much fun to learn these things. And now we use them all the time, like jagoff and yins.
I still am not very good at yins. I need more practice. But it was a lot of fun to learn that. And again, the pierogi story with my shirt. I love telling that because I was like, no, that's so cute. Anything with the story, anything with like history behind it, I think it's so cool.
It is. We had, like I said, we just had so much fun.
It was a good place. We didn't have the best view in the hotel, but it was good. It was nice. It was fine.
Yeah.
it did what it needed to do, and we had a lot of fun.
And then now the next trip we're going to take is to Wilmington, North Carolina.
Here's your impulsive. She's been looking for something for us to be impulsive, and we finally did it.
Yeah, very impulsive.
I mean, not really, but yes. Not really, but yes.
Yeah, that will be in November. So it's not like totally impulsive,
but we just booked it. Last time, to be fair, we looked at multiple locations until we finally landed on one. So
I didn't even do it this time.
We did it. We said, this one fits. Let's go. It's by the beach. Let's go. As a balcony, let's go. No. She said, we're good. And I was like, oh, so we're not going to do what we normally do and look at all of the options? That's cool.
We're so terrible. Like, literally, like a whole bunch of places, and then we go back and then
we add more. First we have a bunch. We add more, and then we're like, nah, no, just kidding. Let's do more because we need more.
We need one closer to the bars, or we need one closer.
There's always a reason we need something. And they were like, you know what? No, let's just do this one. This is the one that makes more sense. Exactly. And we end up where we started. Every time.
Every single time.
It's like the first, second one, we're like, oh, this is nice. And then we look, and then we always come back to it. It's like, I don't know why we did that. It's not
always greener on the other side.
No, it's never. Scientifically speaking, it's not. And I was told that, so it's not.
So if you hear anything about Wilmington, if you know any food or restaurants or anything like that, or any cultural centers or anything cultural event wise, we want to hear about it. So please send us some information. We are very interested.
Always. So, yeah.
And we'll find a candy store there too. And
if we don't, we will hit one before we come home. I'm not coming home empty handed. I fucking refuse. I'm not doing it.
Tania is the candy store queen.
I have to. It's like a need. It's a child thing. I don't know. I need a candy store, and I need all the candies. I almost couldn't make myself leave Grandpa Joe's. That candy store is one of the best ones I've been to.
Yeah, that one was so cool. Much fun. And the raunchiness of some of the things that we saw.
It's like I got a hand sanitizer. It's I just took a shit or something. It's a hand sanitizer. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Oh, today we're drinking a whiskey and cider together, and it's very
delicious.
Good.
And I'm not even a whiskey person, but
it's like a very fall drink. So we thought we'd try that, and
it's delicious.
It's a good drink.
Yeah.
We always have to have our drinks because we always have to have our laughter and self-care and
all of the
what
things
we do.
All of the things. Yeah.
So this month we learned that it is
a couple of things this month, like mental health wise, that we want to the mental health and culture, right? It's DV awareness and Depression Awareness Month, and also
Filipino American Heritage Awareness Month.
As everyone saw her post about.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen any of my posts, I'll talk. My daughters are half Filipina, so I talk a lot about that. And also, I've been to the Philippines, so I talk about going there and doing some visits and stuff like that. So
yeah.
But it's also when we talk about travel, we always include mental health. We always include that. And in the TikTok videos, you'll see that we discuss why it's important to talk about culture and mental health together. Both of us are pretty passionate about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's more than just talking about our own experiences. Obviously, we have very different ones, and we do come from very different backgrounds. But I think at the end of the day, and we were just literally talking about this, right? Like the idea of, as a therapist, as the intake, all of that is culture. Your family of origin, what's your trauma history, what is your ethnic, cultural identities or whatever, gender, like all of the things that you want to talk about yourself. It's literally what we're asking in an intake. And at least that's important to me because I want to know who you are based off of the little bit that we got for an hour. Because in an hour, you can't really tell that much about yourself. But it is nice to have those conversations because this is what I tell clients, make sure you fill everything out so we can talk about it. And you're not leaving like I just interrogated you for an hour. So it's part of we can't take out culture from mental health, and you can't take mental health out of culture. Like they're just one of the same, the biopsychosocial, however you call it. It's an intake. All of the fucking information that compiles this person is what's needed to have this idea of where to take this person next. So,
and that's actually universal.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what culture you come from. Mental health impacts you Doesn't matter where you're from.
And I have my sweatshirt. I have to say, mental health is health. Yes. We can't take, I'm just hot, so I took it off, but you can't take away the physical and the mental health. They're one of the same. If you are, and we, there's I've liked something on TikTok from one of the new followers, and I wish I looked back to get it, but she posted something about like physical health and what it looks like when you're suffering from mental health. And we've talked about this before, and it's so important to understand that, because even culturally, we don't look at physical health as being one of the same with mental, like culturally. That is a very like newer thing that people are like, oh, so there's correlation with like GI shit with literally and figuratively with like trauma. Yeah.
Headaches, picking at your skin,
GI things, and then your heart, your blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, cancer. There's like all of these things that we're seeing the correlation that you can't take out one or the other. Culture meant like it's who we are as people. Like I know people want to be like, well, you need to see differences, because we're all very different and we have very different backgrounds. We can have a little bit of the similarities. Like I talk about first gens, like I have a huge like space in there that I understand, but there's a lot of things that I still don't, because my parents were lucky and we didn't have the worries that a lot of people do as far as documentation. I was very blessed. We grew up very suburban, very blessed, but there's still some things that happen through having immigrant parents or whatever it could be, but it's one of the same. It's just super important, and we can't separate the two. It just doesn't make sense to do that.
That's true. And I've been thinking about this a lot, because I was actually asked to be part of almost like a judge, a faux judging a case team that had to come up with a fake concept to help single homeless women. And I think I talked to you about this. So I'm in this class. Now, I used to work in homeless shelters and did so for quite a while, and in the mental health capacity. And there isn't a lot of mental health in homeless shelters. I just to say that, just to be clear. And this team is a bunch of PhD and undergraduate students who come together, and it's like a contest. So they're competing against other teams who are doing the same thing. But they came up with this amazing concept of putting an app together that helps with, childcare locations and transportation, as well as reminders for like medication or medical appointments, or even social work appointments. It was really good. It was really well thought out. The vision was great. The only thing that I thought was missing was the fact that domestic violence, or DV, if you didn't know what DV meant when we first said it, wasn't mentioned. And DV for women especially is extremely high when you're talking about being in homeless shelters. So it really made me start thinking about DV and women especially, and what kinds of things are available. And not only that, but when you think about homeless, there's this stigma about the homeless, that they're lazy, that they're not doing anything. Well, after working in a shelter, I realized that's not exactly the truth. The truth of the matter is that everything costs money. And when you don't have money, everything costs more than you think it does. Right. So trying to get transportation to the childcare, difficult. Trying to make sure child care is paid, difficult. Groceries, you can hardly do that if you're paying for everything else. Right. Trying to find that permanent housing, because you have to do that on your own, even though it's housing first in this nation, in the US. You still have to do that on your own and find that permanent housing. And it's difficult. It's not, none of it is easy, and everything is super, super expensive when you have no money. So it's, usually a struggle as to what to do, and it becomes a cyclical issue, and intergenerational trauma on top of everything else, right? So DV is very similar in that regard, very cyclical. The trauma becomes cyclical.
Yeah.
But as a therapist, what can you do for women, especially who come in? I mean, there are men, by the way. I am not discounting that. There are a lot of men out there who have DV.
Oh, absolutely.
Or who are going through DV.
Yeah.
But when you have somebody in your office who talks about that, what are their options?
So this is where, in all honesty and transparency, right now I don't. And I tend to stay away from this particular population because, right, as clinicians, we want to be completely ethical. And I think I struggle with this the most. But as a therapist, staying within ethical reason, we can't really say, hey, you need to go. You need to go find where to go, because honestly, that is an easy way out for us because I'm not in it. So we can't really say, hey, go do this, this, and this. We say, what are your safety plans? Where can you go? What do you have? And being more of like, what are your options? What do you know that you can do for yourself if it gets worse? Obviously, we can't tell them to call the police because they have to do it. They're adults. We are very limited. And working, and I don't have a lot of experience, but working with people that usually get out of it is where I see the most clients. But in those situations, we really can't do anything more than say, hey, like, I'm here for you. Let's come up with a plan, give them numbers to shelters and give them numbers to hotlines. And we could just kind of give them resources so they know who to call if it does get to that point where they can't keep themselves safe anymore. But from anything, we can't really tell them what to do. I mean, the idea of doing that in therapy is not fair anyway, because it's very simple for us as therapists to be like, well, just do this. Well, I got no money. I got no support system. How is it fair for us to like tell you what to do when that's just not a reality? But it is really difficult because you can't nudge them in any way. You could just ask them what their resources are. And if they don't have it, you give it to them. You give them printouts of shelters or numbers to call or 911. Like, you can't really do anything more than that. You can only just say, hey, like, to call 911. Other than that, that's all you got. It's so hard because, like Leslie was saying, everything costs fucking money. People ain't got it. Even people that work and have somewhat of a stable housing, it's still hard. And finding those resources is really the only thing we can do for these individuals that come in looking for help, because we can't tell them what to do at the end of the day.
That's true. And also, we have to remember that some people don't know how to ask for help. They don't know that they should ask for help. Mm-hmm. They don't know they can ask for help. And they don't know who to ask for help. And there are organizations, shadow organizations, that do help, and there's one here in this area called Doorways. You can Google it, Doorways, and they have an information line as well, that can give you way more information, than we can. But DV is its own culture.
It is.
And, some DV survivors are, lumped in a group, and not looked well upon, even though they've gone through hell and back,
right?
Because of prejudgments and because of biases and stigmas, all sorts of things. But the fact is, if you are in that kind of situation, one, you may not recognize it.
Because it extends a punch.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
And two, this may be, again, a trauma response that the person is having, and they feel that they are unworthy. So their self-worth is down.
Right.
So that's something else. And three, they might be scapegoating themselves. They might be gaslit into believing that, everything will be fine this time. I'll just do this, and this should make everything better. But unfortunately, as time goes on, it doesn't get better. And then we're stuck in a financial mess, where we can't get out of something or we don't know how to get out of it.
Because it starts very small, right? This idea that DV is just the first punch and that's it. It is a whole fucking process. They get to completely take away all your self-worth. It starts literally with that. It doesn't start and end with the hits. That's definitely not the first thing that we see. That's the problem. By the time we get to the hits, you have already felt like you've earned the hits, and then you have earned to stay in that space because you did something wrong. And this is where it becomes cyclical and trauma and generational trauma, because we grew up in those spaces where we feel like it's only appropriate for us to be disciplined in that way because we did something that was wrong. Again, it's very, very subjective. It's not an objective thought. It's, well, they think this is wrong. And that's what is so tough, because people don't see it until it's gotten, either they unfortunately end up dead for drastic situations, or they're in it for a long time and they don't know how to get out. And then they just kind of are used to the cycle, and it's just hospital visits and it's in and out of like counseling or whatever. It is a huge, it just doesn't start with a hit. And I know everybody wants to see hits to make a DV, but there's so much more to it. It's just they completely break you down. It is literally, that's probably the best way to put it, because they take you out of your space and they make you feel safe until you're not safe. And then they're the ones that are causing you the harm.
Right. And you don't want to see it that way, because you remembered how it was, and you think you can get it back.
It's always great. It's always great at the beginning.
Yeah. And then it's a fear factor.
Yep.
And that fear kind of keeps you frozen in a certain state. So
absolutely.
But that's not all of it. There's so much more to talk about when you talk about DV, and we're not going to do it. We're not going to get into it. All we're going to do is just say, if you're in that situation, you want to get out, please find the people that can. Call doorways, look up doorways, look for the private shelters, look for however you can help yourself. Look for the people that can help. And it's going to be hard. We're not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
We're going to be very realistic. It's going to be hard, but you can do it.
I'm having a hard time with my hair. Sorry.
Your hair
curly life.
I know.
Problems. Can't fucking get it to do what I'm supposed to. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't with this hair.
So we were also going to, what were we also going to talk about? We were going to talk about biculturalism and things like that, because it's also Filipino.
Yeah. We were going to talk about it because you mentioned it about your daughters and stuff. And I think there is a lot to be said about, and obviously I'm not Filipino, but having this in between, anything / American is always going to separate us.
Yeah.
That / in between American and whatever else. And I posted something about it too. Just the in between that Leslie had mentioned. Yeah. It's a thing. You're too much of this for these group of people, and you're too much of that for the other. Right. And
I like how, my daughters call themselves Wasians, which I love. I mean, I think it started out as a derogatory term, but I think they turned it around to empower themselves rather than have it, remain derogatory.
Right.
And they like that because they are, white and Asian, and they step in both cultures, but they're not fully embraced in both cultures. And that's the sad part, but that's the reality of the situation too. And that's something that as a mom, I have to understand, and keep the fight, going, make sure they're heard and make sure everyone's heard. But regardless, for the Filipinos and Filipinas out there, we love you. We love your food. We love your culture.
Yes.
And I certainly miss the Philippines. So I just did this whole travel thing for TikTok where I just put a whole bunch of pictures of places I've been in the world.
It's awesome. If you haven't, please find us, MindScapes717.
And I couldn't even. There weren't enough spaces for me to put everything, but that's okay. We can continue, and so Tania and I are going to continue that tradition. The more places that we go,
hell yeah.
So we went to Pittsburgh. Now we're going to Wilmington, and in December we're going to New Orleans, Belize, excited. Honduras, and Mexico. So
it's my first cruise. It's my first one. We're supposed to do the first one for my birthday in 2020, and then we all know what happened. Yeah. So
COVID.
Yes.
Lovely COVID.
Lovely timing, of course. So that I couldn't go on my first cruise. So now we are. Now we're going. On my first cruise, definitely not Leslie's first cruise, but mine. It's my first one.
No, I've been on quite a few.
Yes. She's not a novice. She's telling me how to pack. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do with my life. I'm just worried about the motion sickness. I'm going to be drugged the hell up with all the Dramamine, the bands, the alcohol, whatever is going to help me get through, because I don't do well. I don't do well with travel. It hates me very much.
I think we're going to have fun. It's a Christmas cruise.
Oh, we're going to have fun. That's for sure.
And then we'll be in New Orleans for New Year's. So again, hit us up.
Yeah. Let us know.
If you have places that you would suggest for us to go. And trust me, we are on TikTok a lot and we are looking up all sorts of stuff, but we want to hear from you. So let us know. And hit us up. We are on MindScapes717 @gmail.com. We are on Spotify. We are on Insta. We are on TikTok, all under MindScapes717.
YouTube.
And now here on YouTube. Yes. All doing this live stream. Woo!
We're trying, guys. We're trying. Nobody's here, but we're still talking to those people out there.
Exactly. Yeah. So we are trying. We're trying to get us to get the word out there and make sure that people understand that culture and mental health go hand in hand. And that's what we're here to talk about, and enjoy and travel with us and go places with us and figure things out.
This is all part of what Leslie loves to say. Self-care is not selfish.
That's right.
This is all self-care, travel, self-love, self-care, safe spaces. It's, again, you can't have one without the other. We appreciate travel, and this is something that over the years it has brought us more together in the travels that we have done and stuff. And it is very important for us to learn not only what's out there, but what are the things that kind of make us very different, because we're very different individuals. We have a couple of things that might the eldest daughter thing, that's one of the few things really, but I think that's what makes it fun, where we can have all the differences and talk about it, because that's literally what drove us to even start this.
That's right.
Even though we've talked about it for so long, I think we met for dinner one night, and then within 48 hours we were doing this this podcast, and we just kind of did it. It took us a very hot minute the day of. We were down here for hours and we couldn't figure it out. But now we're getting better. We're getting followers, which again, always super, super thank you to everyone out there. Please feel free to share our stuff. And again, right, we want this to go somewhere, and we want you guys to come with us just to have these conversations. And we want to have people join our conversations, in any shape or form that we can have you guys.
It doesn't matter. Ask us anything. We'll be happy to answer. Yeah. As long as it's appropriate.
Yes. Let's be kind.
But you can be inappropriate.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
A fun inappropriate.
Obviously, we're not very formal here, so
exactly.
We don't take anything personal. Just be kind about mental health.
Exactly.
We're not gonna do the extra shit. Don't be rude to other people. Culture is a very important thing to people, so please don't be disrespectful. Just if you have something to say, you have something to say, and we value that. Even though we might not agree, but we're going to value it anyway. So just be kind to other people. That's all.
Agreed. So I think that's it for today. And join us for the next one next week on a Sunday. It's always on Sunday.
Yep.
So
it's podcast day.
Podcast day. MindScapes717. Come join us next time. Yay, and now we're done. You can see We're a little bit crazy.
A little bit. I mean, that's a little light. That's a little nice putting it.
We're a little crazy, but that's okay. But we hope to see you again. And next time it's just going to be a regular video. We thought we'd try this live stream again. And
we just have to get familiar with this.
Yeah.
Eventually exactly. we will be better about posting it ahead of time. We don't know yet. Just be nice to us because we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not joking. Like, I know people are like, oh, I don't know. No. We're not being coy. We're not being whatever funny. No, we genuinely do not know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah.
So be kind.
But we're trying.
We don't. Yeah, we are trying. We're getting faster.
We are. And, posting stuff and trying to figure out how to, amplify our voices so that other voices could be heard as well.
And we're also down for the suggestions if anyone knows, because we are literally the blind leading the blind here, because we don't know these things. We don't. We literally are cussing out our phones on a day-to-day trying to figure shit out.
But we're doing it with a drink.
Always. Are you kidding?
A drink. So,
And good food, because we're foodies.
Yes, exactly. So we're about to have some good food, I think.
What's she making?
I think she's making a shrimp casserole.
Oh my God. See, Sundays, not only podcast day, but I get to eat. I get to eat good over here. So,
yeah, it's always a good time on Sundays.
All right. We'll see you guys.
See ya.
Thank you.
Until next time.